Hi. Ukulele, concert-sized. What I'm going to show you right now is just a couple things about frets. All right? And when we say put your finger on the 3rd fret, what we actually mean is just behind the 3rd fret. And all the frets kind of look alike. You know, there are these little strips of metal, and it's sometimes hard to count when you're changing chords. So there are a couple of handy things that instrument builders have built in to help you keep track. And one is on the front of the fretboard, there are position markers. And in this case, they're on the 5th, the 7th, the 10th, and the 12th frets. They look kind of like little wings. And what many instrument makers will also do, and this is actually far more helpful, is they'll put position markers on the side. See those little white dots there? So here on this ukulele, we're seeing on the 5th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, and 12th fret, again, right there. And again, note the dots are not on the actual metal bar, but they're in the middle, which is where we're going to put our fingers. So if I say put your index finger on the 3rd fret, notice how it's not like on the 3rd fret, it's kind of like between. So the string is breaking over the 3rd fret. And then you strum all the strings, and you get a nice little note. Okay? So that's the first thing. Now, the 3 chords we're going to be using, I'm just going to call them 1, 5, and 4, are going to happen on the 3rd fret, like that, and they're going to happen on the 7th fret. Your finger's going to cover all the strings and press them all down, and they're going to happen on the 5th fret, and your finger's going to cover all the strings and push them down. Again, just behind the 3rd fret, 7th fret, and 5th fret. It's kind of hard to press all the strings down with your finger, so the way it usually works is I wind up putting another finger on top of it, and then behind, my thumb is pressing down pretty good. So when I'm doing all the strings, the thumb and back is kind of a deal. You see how that kind of works there? So the chords we're going to be using are, and then 4, and then 5, and then back to 1, 5, 4, 5. The chord names don't have anything to do with which frets you're putting it on. They're sort of different systems we can talk about at some point over beers. Okay, so index finger or middle, I don't care. 3rd fret, 1st string. That's the string closest to the floor. All strings, 7th fret. All strings, 5th fret. All strings, 7th fret. Just the 1st string, the one closest to the ground, 3rd fret. Okay? That's all we got to know to do this song. I'm going to now play it once through all the way, and my hope is you got a Mac so you can edit this into chunks or something like that. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it so we can see the kind of where we're trying to get to. Okay? And with this, it's a little hard to see and stuff like that. But remember, we're talking about 1, 5, 4, 5, or 3rd fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. Okay? So here goes. Oh, and you'll see how it works. There's this kind of little intro, which is what I just played, and then there's the other parts. Okay? One more thing. When you're playing all of the strings across, that top note is kind of sweet, but it's a little odd, maybe. And down here, we're including it mostly because it's easier that way, and it's good to kind of start with something easy and something you can get percussive with and something you can feel comfortable with pretty quickly. But there's one chord where I'm going to really be asking you to emphasize that top note. That's the as sure as the sun's going to shine line. I'm going to really want that top note emphasized. The rest of the time when you're doing these bar chords, chords 4 and 5 are on the 5th fret and the 7th fret. The rest of the time, you don't need to worry about that top note so much. Like here, you can't really hear it because I'm not doing such a good job pressing all the strings down. But when we do that one other chord, we are really going to want to hear it. Okay? That's something that'll just come a little bit. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they tell me of a pie up in the sky, waiting for me when I die. And between the day you're born and when you die, they never seem to hear even your cry. So as sure as the sun's gonna shine, I'm gonna get my share right now. What's mine? And then the harder they come, harder they fall, one and all. Ooh, the harder they come, harder they fall, one and all. Well, the oppressors are trying to keep me down, trying to drive me underground. They think that they have got the battle won. I say forgive them, Lord, they know not what they've done. So as sure as the sun's gonna shine, I'm gonna get my share right now. What's mine? And then the harder they come, harder they fall, and all. The harder they come, harder they fall, one and all. And then you have that little interlude in the middle, which is like the beginning. 1, 5, 4. And I'll keep on fighting for the things I want, though I know that when you're dead you can't. I'd rather be a free man in my grave than living as a puppet or a slave. So as sure as the sun's gonna shine, I'm gonna get my share right now. What's mine? And then the harder they come, harder they fall, one and all. The harder they come, harder they fall, one and all. And I just finish up this way, just like we began. And then maybe once more. And I just end on that 4. Okay? Okay, good. Now, 1 chord, 1st finger, 3rd fret, 5 chord, all fingers barred on the 7th fret, all strings barred on the 7th fret, 4 chord, all strings barred on the 5th fret, and that's all you need. With the, I know whatever that line is, as sure as the sun's going to shine, that one, I'm really emphasizing that note, the top string. Some people call it the bottom string because it's closest to the bottom, but it's the top string because it's the sort of the highest. But the rest of the time, except for as sure as the sun's going to shine, the rest of the time I'm emphasizing that part of things and not that part of things. The bottom end instead of the top end. Okay? Okay, so 1, 5, 4, 5, 1, 5, 4. 1, 5, 4, 5, 1, 5, 4. Then you go to 5. Start singing 5, 5, 4, 4. Back to 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4. And then 5 with emphasis on the top. And back to 4, 4. makes some sense. Now, one other thing that a lot of people forget about a lot with musical instruments, with stringed instruments, I don't know, they forget to talk about it, is the fact that it's also a really percussive thing. It's not just these notes. So to achieve a percussive kind of thing, something I'm doing is sometimes I just rest my fingers lightly on the strings without pressing them down, which gives you that. And sometimes I press them down hard, which gives you that. So that lets me go, which is fun. But for your purposes right now as you're beginning, I mean, all that'll come. All you need to do is pretty soon, you'll find yourself naturally doing this like. Okay? So percussive stuff comes all by itself and it'll come really quickly. That's about all I can think of right now for this particular song. So, bye.